29th of August. Welcome everyone to the program. This is Business Morning with me, Bosun Amafai. Let's get started. Nigeria is chasing stolen funds around the world, and yesterday the Vice President didn't miss the opportunity to tell a delegation of U.S. congressmen what they need to do, saying the U.S. should not be a safe haven for corrupt public officials. This is what the Vice President says in part to the delegation that are in the country for a couple of days, meeting first with government officials and later with some government agencies, and they'll be in Lagos between today and tomorrow. And this is what the Vice President says. He said, what tends to happen with corrupt public officials is that if they are able to find a safe haven for the proceeds of their criminality, not only are they encouraged as individuals, but there is the general feeling that if I am able to get the proceeds out of the country, I might just get away with it. So the Vice President says the U.S. is cooperating with the United States is cooperating with Nigeria as far as the stolen funds concerned, and some monies have been recovered, but the U.S. has to do more. That's what the Vice President told the U.S. congressional delegation. But let's look at some of the countries where Nigeria is currently chasing some of the looted funds. There are quite a number of countries, but these 4 countries seem to be in the front line of Nigeria's current chasing of looted funds. The United States, of course, is number 1. Britain, or the United Kingdom, is number 2, of course. That's all in the news most of the time. This is another country that is also in the news. Switzerland, of course, you know, the banking system there in the days of the military era here. And, of course, the 4th country is the United Arab Emirates. Last week, the president signed a new treaty on repatriation of stolen funds and repatriation of corrupt public officials back to Nigeria. It's a two-way treaty signed with the United Arab Emirates, a very landmark pact with the Middle East country on how to get repatriated stolen funds back to Nigeria as quickly as possible, and also bypass the courts in the UAE and get the banks to just resend the money back to the owner, in this time the sovereign entity called Nigeria. So those are the 4 countries where Nigeria is chasing very actively some of the funds that have been stolen recently, and those are still missing as far back as some of the years during the military regime. Meantime, the president has been having meetings with some key cabinets on the state of the economy. Yesterday, met for a couple of hours with the ministers of finance and her counterpart. That's Minister of Finance, is Kemi Adeosun, of course, and counterpart at the Budget and National Planning, Udoma, as well as the Governor of the Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele. This meeting on Monday was to take a look at a few things. One, the fiscal position of the government. That comes from Kemi Adeosun's portfolio. Where are we as far as the efficiency is concerned? Then, as far as Godwin Emefiele is concerned, what are the existing monetary policy strategies that's been implemented to get the economy fast-track? This is a very critical briefing the president received from these 3 individuals, government officials, yesterday. Then the exchange rate market. Where were we as far as the Naira dollar is concerned, and the exchange rate management and those interventions by the central bank? The president also got that briefing from Godwin Emefiele. Then, of course, from Udoma, the implementation of the budget 2017 alongside his counterpart, Kemi Adeosun, in the Ministry of Finance. Then the work on the budget 2018, the deadline according to the executive order signed on the 18th of May this year by the then acting President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, to be submitted to the National Assembly by October and to be finalized by December 31st. And we have a new budget for 2018, brand new year, 1st of January 2018. So the president wanted to find out from Udoma and the rest of his team, where are we as far as the planning and the implementation of that is concerned, and of course how we're working on the 2017 budget and that very tight schedule that the budget lifeline will look like about 6 months if the 2018 budget preparation meets that executive order. Let's come back to Lagos, where markets is really the king. Stanbic IBTC, one of the listed banks, has notified the market that its first half 2017 earnings has been delayed due to primary regulatory oversight on the side of the Central Bank of Nigeria. That notice came to the stock exchange on Monday. The results for the first 6 months of the year will now be out today, Tuesday, the 29th of August, or according to that statement, within a few days thereafter. So if that is not out today, we expect that to be out in the next couple of days. That will be one of the final ones. The only other bank also yet to release its earnings, even for 2016, was Skybank PLC. Take that away. Let's see the next one. The list of listed companies floating rights issue on the market is increasing. It's now been joined by Consolidated Hallmark Insurance, a mid-cap insurer, rolling out 1 billion ordinary shares, offering to the markets. That joined the rest of other companies like UAC, Flour Mills, Lafarge Wapco. Those are the big boys in the rights issue market. Now, the small cap or mid cap insurers are joining that list of companies asking their shareholders for additional money to recapitalize for various business reasons. Meantime, this is the flip side. The list of companies in voluntary delisting from the stock exchange is increasing. Avon Crancaps, based in Sangwater, in Ogun State, and Paints and Coatings Manufacturers PLC filed papers with the stock exchange that they want to get out of the Nigerian stock exchange. They do not want to be part of the trading board of the NSE. Okay, this is where we were. Of course, this is all over the markets already. Owando, Nigeria, says the petitions from some shareholders to the Securities and Exchange Commission alleging gross abuse of corporate governance and financial mismanagement against the energy trading company, quote-unquote, have no merit. That's what the statement released to the stock exchange on Monday by Owando stated. Owando says these allegations were unfounded, that the company is cooperating with the Securities and Exchange Commission and would make public, will have full disclosure